in the world of sport and more broadly globally. The enhancement of youth sports for health and well-being, and there can probably be no more pertinent a subject to discuss than that at this time. And I'm delighted that the university has given space within the World Championships for something that really does strike at the heart of some of the challenges that we face, both as federations, as universities, and as organisations in sport, trying to make changes to particularly hard-pressed neighbourhoods. I probably don't need, in front of this audience today, to say that running has a significant role to play in the fight against the growing levels of obesity, heart disease, and other health-related illnesses and pathologies occurring, it has to be said, in at increasing levels across societies that are becoming increasingly sedentary. And I probably certainly don't need to be saying in Kenya that running is an open, inclusive activity which presents no boundaries to individuals on the basis of age or gender. And with the development of a family and neighbourhood-based running culture is of course a key ingredient in encouraging and sustaining a healthy lifestyle. And it's not an exaggeration to say that running is the oldest sport and a component of so many other sports. Often when I visit young people in schools, they ask me, or I ask them what they want to be in sport, what involvement, what interest they have in sport, and they often say, well, I want to be a David Beckham or a Roger Federer, and I say, fantastic, you have to be a great track and field athlete before you can even contemplate playing these sports. Athletics at its heart is the mother of all sports. It has all the physical literacies that you could possibly want from a sport to be transferable to other sports, short of swimming, unless it goes horribly wrong in the steeplechase. It's not an exaggeration, though, to say that sport contributes and, of course, makes an essential contribution also to the virtues of fair play, character development, resilience in dealing with crisis, and the ability to problem solve. Sport is also the hidden and arguably the most potent social worker we have in any of our neighbourhoods, and particularly in those hard-pressed communities where displaced young people in all parts of the world try to survive throughout the day, staying clear of the malign influence of inner city gangs and, of course, the growing challenge of refugees. Sport doesn't just mirror society, it often sets its trends, and we've seen this time and time again, and we've seen it time and time again in track and field, where it was being at the forefront of fighting the just war against apartheid, or going back to 1936 when Jesse Owens proved the risible Aryan views of Adolf Hitler. Time and time again, athletics, the sport that I'm very proud to lead, has been at the forefront of all these key social and political changes. We often turn to sport to inspire change in other sectors, in other industries, and to drive messages of unity, courage, excellence, achievement, and of course human ideals. So when sport has a crisis of confidence, we are compelled to rebuild and repair quickly. The world looks to us to do that. I don't think, as many do, that sport is fighting for its life. Sport is stronger than that, mainly because of the people in it. Sport would not have survived 3 centuries, 3 weeks, let alone 33 centuries, if it had not been based on hard work, focused, talented, dedicated coaching, and athletes that were prepared to dedicate half their young lives to the pursuit of all these excellences. But sport does have to address the triangular deficit of trust, relevance, and leadership. A triangle that is probably familiar to most industries and organisations in this room. These are by no means unique challenges or deficits only found in sport. Remaining relevant is a survival necessity of any good company, brand, or product, even political parties. Rebuilding and retaining trust is another side of that triangle, and the last side is establishing and enabling strong and resilient leadership. This is not just for sport. I'm leading track and field, but it is across all sports. In fact, it could apply to almost every industry or sector at some point, and one way or another probably has. It is for this reason that one of our underlying objectives is to help athletics' limitless potential to contribute to the common good. And to be successful, we must attract children at a young age and nurture their interest in the love of exercise. The goal is to establish healthy lifestyles early in life, which will continue into and through adult life. With these ingrained, young people then have the physical ability and the mental capacity to choose to pursue a career in competitive sport, or be part of our sport in other capacities, in coaching, in officialdom, in administration, or just to exercise recreationally. And crucially, and this is often overlooked, to be encouraging parents. Parents have such a strong say over the sports that their young charges drift towards. Kenya topped the overall medal table at the 2015 IAAF World Championships in Beijing, and that was testimony to the incredible amount of running talent in Kenya and how it is being nurtured and developed, and if I may say so, cherished. A symposium of this nature provides a platform for the exchange of knowledge in these critical areas of talent discovery and development. During my career, I competed against Kenyan runners on many occasions. I found them to be first and foremost gentle and humble off the track, but extremely competitive on the track. There is therefore a lot we can learn from Kenyan running. What is equally encouraging and inspiring is what Kenyan athletes have done by way of giving back as role models. For example, Tegla Laroup has become an ambassador of peace. Paul Turgat has been a UN World Food Programme ambassador against hunger since his retirement. Lorna Kiplagat is a great inspiration, using her resources to develop a state-of-the-art high-altitude training centre for athletes. And it is because of another great athletic friendship and rivalry with one of the finest athletes to grace the global sport of track and field, Professor Mike Boyd, that I'm so pleased to be here at Kenyatta University. Mike has directly and indirectly assisted over 200 bright students to gain admission to some of the world's most prestigious universities in the United States and in Canada. And what is so impressive is that the majority of these students come from underprivileged homes. Last year, his projects also assisted students from South Sudan and Uganda. I'm sorry, Tegla, you just missed me saying something quite nice about you. Mike has earned his degrees in Eastern New Mexico, Stanford University, and the University of Oregon on sports scholarships. He is understandably a strong advocate of track scholarships. Welcome. In support of Mike's mission and vision, I really want to take this opportunity to encourage African universities to offer track scholarships as a bridgehead to improving the level of sport on the continent of Africa, to highlight the importance of education and of course, to enhance cultural exchange. We must offer better educational opportunities to all our athletes. This, I believe, is the most effective way of proactively fighting the use of illegal drugs in sport and helping all athletes be accountable for themselves, their health and fitness, and ultimately take responsibility for the sport they all love. This includes researching better, more productive training methods and a greater understanding of sports nutrition as an alternative to the use of performance-enhancing drugs that expose our youth to life-threatening conditions and poor decisions that impact their lives well beyond their competitive careers. So, I encourage Kenyatta University and other research institutions in the region to use the legacy left by the World Under-18 World Championships as the impetus to improve research in the area of sports sciences, to lead this area, to lead in thought leadership. And if I may end on one point, I would like it to be about leadership. The world of sport, in fact the world in general, is craving good leadership. And our young people struggle in most sectors to find it. Shared structures and coalitions are not working as there is little or no accountability. Athletes and individuals continue in their pursuit of glory. As a society, we still value that. That is a good thing. The difference with athletics is that their hard work and their dedication, their relentless pursuit of a goal, but we should never be forged only in the goal. The journey is as important as the goal. Our leaders need to learn this. Our future leaders, all of you, need to understand this. We want a goal and we want to see and understand the journey towards that goal. Not a trail of broken promises, discarded ideals, and a litany of unaccountable, it's not my fault, buck passing. Leaders of the future will lead by actions, not rhetoric. They will be chosen because they offer something different. I deeply appreciate Kenyatta University for coming up with the brilliant idea of hosting this symposium, a leadership idea in itself, for inviting me to attend, and for allowing me the privilege to open today's session. But before I conclude, let me also place on record to Kenyatta University my thanks for creating and providing such an essential part of the project, the integrated operational effectiveness of delivering a World Championships. The most important element in the delivery of a World Championships is how we look after our athletes, how we house them, how we feed them, and how we create an environment of peace and tranquility so that they can do the best work of their lives at the most important moment in their young lives. And to have created the campus, to have created the home here for those athletes is an extraordinary achievement, and one that I will forever and eternally be grateful. And when you have the French complimenting you on the quality of your food, then you probably know that a large part of that project has already been fulfilled. Professor Mike, thank you very much for the invitation to be here today. I look forward to seeing you over the next coming days. I look forward to hosting you at our dinner this evening, but most of all, I'm looking forward to a fantastic track and field event in a country whose history has in large part shaped the last 30 years of the history of international athletics. Thank you very much indeed.